Hey, g'day guys, it's Calvin, cartoon in New Zealand. If you're noticing my background's a bit different, I've moved to a house that's actually no longer on the farm. I bought a little farm or a lifestyle block next door, so I've actually got about 12 acres, and we'll show you what I've been up with. Oh wait, we'll go to this one, eh? So there's one of my ewes. She's had 3 little lambs. She's actually rearing all 3. She's doing a great job. Oh, I've got lots of her. Oh, I've got lots of her, haven't I? She's really doing lovely. Another one, and then this one. This was my last one. Look at how fat she is. She was meant to have 2 in there. Turns out she only had the 1. Oh, we got that same picture again. Oh, I've deleted it. But she had just one big lamb. Anyway, on to important stuff. I was talking to a man over in Oz, and he rang me. We had a bit of a chat. He's doing a Corolla, or an 86. It might be an A86. It's got a 4AG in it anyway. There's a 4AG involved here. Monsoon X, coil on plug. He was having trouble firing it up. And I get a lot of phone calls from guys wanting support for their links, and I often simply don't have time. But I do offer a service where you can buy some of my time. And Ron has asked me to sort some problems out. He's got quite a list. So we're going to work through each of those items just one at a time. It now runs. He didn't have it firing. I suggested changing. He had it running. He had the timing light at 10 degrees, so it was firing at 10 degrees. And the issue was, he was, of course, now guys will say 180 out. It's 180 of a distributor. Effectively, it was actually 360 crank degrees out. So instead of firing number 1, it was actually firing number 4 at that point in time. So I told him to turn the fuel off. Just turn that fuel off. Get your timing in the correct spot. Bang some engine start in it. Or some carb clean, brake clean, something. And it'll pop out the intake. Fantastic. So you know you've got the firing degrees wise correct, or it's or that the timing firing is correct, but it's on the wrong cylinder. So you change your numbers by 360 degrees, and then you again put some brake clean, carb clean, vroom, and it should fire. And then you turn your fuel back on and sort the fueling. Ron has sent me a copy of his map, and we're going to work on that. But right now we need to sort the CAN lambda. And I've had a bit of a read of what he said in his email. So hopefully here I'm on the right track of sorting the CAN lambda. So I've gone into G4X, the software, and we're going to go to the help file. We're going to help file, wiring information. And in here is really good. We've got monsoon pinout, so that's handy. That's a good thing. Communication ports wiring, there's lots of good stuff. We don't need that one, but the CAN lambda goes through the CAN section, and I think he might have it wired up to the auxiliary. So let me just see if I can find it. Internal widebands, nope. Let's go up to the search function. Oh, I might have to do it in a... So we're actually doing it in there we go. So it says here how you can do different wideband setups. So you can do internal lambda control. So that's on the Fury and on the Thunder. They have internal. You can do an analog sensor, wideband input. So that would be, you've got, like, I use the Spartans. There's lots of other ones, AEM, Innovate, all can be wired up using that info. And then we've got here, CAN lambda. There's also a few other bits and pieces down further, but and it says here, can be found here. There's some setup, but we actually want some wiring. Okay, we want the wiring of the CAN lambda. And that's how to set it up. Actually, there's some stuff there I haven't seen. TCA, oh, that's a different one. Different EGTs. There's the kit. Here we go, look. Link CAN lambda. And it's got a lot of stuff about the CAN lambda and info and stuff like that. But we need to wire it first, because it's not going to work if it's not wired correctly. The setup is actually pretty easy. I don't have a link set up running and wired at the moment to show you some of the setup. And the last one I went to do was the early G4X, and I was going to set up an OBD2 port, and they didn't have OBD2 configured at that point. So let's go up here and let's CAN wiring. And it's got a little bit of here about CAN. Specific CAN wiring. That isn't what I want. I've just gone around in circles, eh? Just wait there. I'll just go find it. Righto. I gave up and trying to find it in the manual. There's the CAN data there, but it isn't what I wanted. What I wanted was the CAN lambda manual, this little help file that comes in the CAN lambda pack. And here it is. Lovely. So we go down. Bit of an overview. There it is. That's the unit that he's got, CAN lambda. So it's kind of important, guys, if you've failed several times, then try reading the instructions. And we want to go down. There's the unit, and there will be a Deutsch plug like this. Here it is. And then we have the sensor placement. That's pretty normal sort of stuff. And then we have this. Okay. So this plug here goes to the sensor. You do not need to touch it. Okay, don't touch that. This is the one that you need to wire. And they have numbers actually on the plug. But if you look at the sensor itself, you will see that there is a red and a black wire. And I believe the low is going to be green. Green for grass. And link, generally that H high is going to be white. Okay, and so you want to connect that into your CAN of your ECU. So you have your power and you have your ground. There's a relay involved. Now I would normally put them on the ECU relay. That's where I would normally put them. And a good clean ground. And then we connect it to the ECU via the CAN high and CAN low. So Ron is using a monsoon. Let's go to the monsoon. Link, help file, wiring information. And I want to go right back to there, and I want to go to there it is. So here is the CAN high, and there is the CAN low. So you want your CAN lambda into those two. Okay, that is very, very important. So the CAN lambda goes into the CAN wiring. It is recommended that you put a terminating resistor, a 120 ohm terminating resistor, into the CAN bus. So you can often get away without it. On some of the early stuff, we used to put a capacitor on the power feed as well, which gave better signal. So if you're having issues, like a 22 microfarad capacitor can help. All right. See it? Right. Okay. These wires you don't need to touch. They're already in the plug. You only need to do the 4 going into the Deutsch plug. Now it does have here. Oh, here's the capacitor. See, look, it's got a little picture. Here's a little picture of the capacitor off the ECU relay. Now I've done this multiple times just fine without the capacitor, without a terminating resistor. But on some of them I just do a capacitor. You never have problems if you do put one in. But you need a good power supply and a good ground. And then CAN high and CAN low. What else we got there? Oh, then there's the setup into the link. I think right at this point what we need to do is get the wiring sorted. Get that correct. That is really, really important. Okay, I can probably do a little bit of setup. We'll just very quickly do some setup. I'm just going to load. I'll actually I'll load Ron's map. Looks like that one. And we open it. Ta-da! So this is the map from this particular vehicle. ECU controls. CAN setup right there. And I knew the CAN lambda wasn't working because it's, as you can see, it's nothing set up. So CAN 1. CAN high, CAN low. We only have CAN 1 on a monsoon. Mode. User defined. Leave it on 1 megabit. The CAN lambda come out factory from link at 1 megabit communication. Okay, so you don't need to change that. If you go wanting to put other stuff on the bus, on the CAN bus, then you may need to change your communication speed. But that's for another day. Channel 1. And we just flick down here. There should be CAN lambda. There it is, right at the bottom. Lambda. And of course, my U had the lambdas as well. The 3 of them. My U had 3 little lambdas. They were the external version that already come out. That big fat one, she had the internal lambda. And then over here, we put a communication, we put a ID of 950. If you're just running the 1 CAN lambda, just trust me, 950 will work. And that's all good. Push apply or push OK, and it'll say make sure you save it. You can go up here and do a bit of a check if you're connected that you're communicating with your CAN. So that's a good way of checking. Just yes, it'll give you a search. Make sure you put it on CAN 1 and do a search if you're looking for CAN 1. If you're looking for CAN 2, put it on CAN 2. And yes, remember to store your ECU settings. So Ron can set that up. You can correct his wiring, get his wiring correct for the CAN lambda, and then he can set it up in the system. Now that's the CAN lambda sorted. There's more tricks to it. There's more other answers and stuff. There's a lot more to that, but we're keeping it basic at this point in time. Excuse me. Right. In the manual, there's also some output wiring. I'm just going to very quickly do output wiring. Auxiliary output wiring. Is that what I wanted? That isn't really what I wanted. There's a little plus here. There we go. Auxiliary output wiring. So he just asked very quickly, and this has all been updated. I'm normally using the G4 Plus stuff, and it's a bit different. They've put some more stuff in it. There we go. Here's a little picture in the auxiliary output wiring of wiring a relay for a fan. Okay, so this may help Ron for wiring up his fan. If it's a big fan, I think it's going to be less than 40 amps, so a single relay will be fine. You choose an auxiliary output from your computer, to a relay, and it's an earth. And this switched ignition relay, I actually used the output from the EFI relay again to trigger that relay. That's covered in the power supplies. And I do see why guys can struggle with, there's just so much information here. So much information. Power and ground wiring. 12 volt in. We're going to have a little picture. Oh, power wiring. It'd be nice to have a little picture. Here it is. It's under ECU hold. But that's ECU hold wiring. That's not what I want. I just want a picture for the guys to show a relay. Ah, there we go. Okay, so if you look here, guys, here's your ignition switch coming in. And see, the output goes to the 14 volts into the ECU. You've also got these ones that come down, you know, these injectors and cores and solids. Let's say you were going to put other things in there, or other relays, or like the fuel pump relay. There's this wire here coming down. It is the power supply for the ignition relay, so it's actually controlled by the main EFI relay. I do the same with the fuel pump relay and the fan relay, so I actually use the output the same as the 14 volt as the 12 volt supply to all my relays that the ECU is controlling. It stops some backfeeds. So Ron, I hope that's helpful. Let's get that CAN wiring sorted and do that setup. We can move forward on getting it so I can actually set up some logging. I'll do that in a separate video, and then and get that fan wired correctly. Then we can do some log files, and I can make some adjustments to the map. That should be enough for today. You can sort this, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks, mate. Talk to you soon.